But,
it's live.
Oh,
Oh.
we got our legs kicked.
Yeah, we're
Get
waiting
your
for
foot
it all.
down. Get that foot down.
Boy, Florida says that all the time.
Oh my gosh. We're here live, we're kicking up.
Oh, goodness gracious.
No, we're just talking here and everything. We're kind of helping with Kaya figure out the logistics behind her future, and there's some interesting moments we're discovering here that I'm not going to critique because it's her choice, but more power to you.
I can handle criticism.
There's one thing I was always told at work when someone comes up to me, they say, "Hey, can I get your opinion on something?" The first thing out of my mouth every time is like, "Are you sure you want it?"
Yeah.
It's always my first comeback because I'm like, I am more than happy. I've always been more than happy to give you my opinion, but are you going to be okay with it? Is that camera like way above us or something?
I've been listening to voices from up there. Oh, man. And she wants to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Scalpel.
Nurse.
Sir, we're just giving
CPA,
stitches.
Whatever.
No.
Let's just say
I didn't carry the one.
you want to
You
know?
owe money.
You owe. we don't owe you $10,000.
Yeah,
you
I'm
owe
sorry.
us $100.
By the way, the IRS called.
Right.
Oh, man.
I think that would tear down every hospital I went into.
Sir, do you know why we're like $30,000 in debt? Oh, sorry about that.
That little period thing was in the wrong spot.
No, but I mean, it's kind of funny. I mean, I can say when I was in high school, for me personally, when it came to like figuring out my career path and everything, I think I pretty much had a general idea. There was two fields that I really wanted to go into. One was aerospace engineering. And that was a lot because my dad worked for Lockheed at the time. And I don't know, to me, the science behind a jet is still to this day amazes me. Just how fast and just the structural integrity and everything about it. Like there's two jets that just always stood out to me. One was the F-14 Tomcat, and the other one was the F-16. And then later the F-22, because that was just the powerhouse the USA had that they decommissioned.
Yeah.
I mean, the most powerful jet in the world.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember Heather Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Her stepdad, I think it is, Paul Babb, he worked on the big planes. And they actually, the military flew him out to Germany to explain to some how apparently he had something to do with wing design.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Jesse, Jesse did QC for Bell Helicopter.
See, I did some interning at Bell, and I did some interning at Raytheon and stuff like that. And I mean, I loved it. But the one thing that my dad always told me, and it is true and it was accurate, it was the fact that aerospace engineers is make or break. Like there's not a high demand on it, but once you're in it, you pretty much solidified your career. Right. But it's just a hard cherry to pick from and stuff. My friend, he's living the dream for me. He's working for Lockheed, but he's doing it for the electrical planning side and stuff. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah.
So I'll just he doesn't work for Lockheed. He works for Walmart now.
Yeah. He works for Locksmith.
Locksmith. That was the company. Silly me. But yeah, and then my second path was actually civil engineer, and now I'm electrical engineer. So
are you getting comments, or are you just?
Oh, I'm trying to see if my mom can see us. Oh, yeah, we're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. But I remember that was always engineering. I always was fascinated by engineering just in general, and I love what I do, electrical engineer, and being able to do stuff for what I do is electrical distribution and stuff. So,
right.
So that to me was always great. When was your? I know we're gonna kick into it, and it kind of relates to like our topic last week and everything. But when did you figure out like what you were gonna do?
I fell into what I had a gift for, and that was I was working at a trailer place right after we got married. We went on our honeymoon for 2 days. I came back and I started working at the trailer place, 18-wheeler trailers, fixing them the lights and all that kind of stuff. If any of them knew that I'd ever worked on a trailer, they would have never pulled it. But anyway, I did that for 3 months. I was basically losing my pants, literally having to throw them away because I would come home grease everywhere. I wasn't good at it. Everyone else would come, the other guys at work, at the end of the day, they just had blue jeans. I had black blue jeans on. So I did an interview. Well, I filled out an application to go work in this supply room at an insurance company. I keep working out, do paper and carry stuff around. And the vice president of systems information called me up and asked me if I wanted to come in and interview. I mean, like right now. And I'm like, I am covered in grease. He goes, that don't matter. Just come on in. I went in and sat down. He actually gave me his handkerchief to sit on so we could do the interview. Did the interview. He hired me. I turned in my 2 weeks. I was so good. They go, just work next week and you'll be okay. We'll give you your 2 weeks pay. And so I went to work in this computer thing, and in about 6 months, it's like I was running it. And it was from there on, it just blasted. So it's one of those things where you just let God do his thing. He puts you in because I was going to be a coach. You guys heard me say that before.
I remember
I was
that.
going to be a football coach. I was going to teach history, and that's what I wanted to do. But God, no. So, and interestingly enough, you guys were talking about college. That the stuff that I was doing, you couldn't learn in college.
Yeah.
So you had to learn it by having. I remember one time. You've always heard about these savants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we had a
Are
guy.
you one yourself?
No.
That.
Oh, wait. Am I?
I don't know.
But no, I know I'm not because of this guy. There were two IBM guys came in. They were working on one of our computers, and one guy just sat there reading a book, and the other guy was buzzing around. And the guy, he'd talk to us. We were doing work on other things. He would watch his watch. He'd write stuff down and go in and talk to the guy, and then go in and write stuff down. And what he did, he had to tell the guy, he had to go and go, it's time to go to the bathroom. It's time to go eat. Okay, you got 15 minutes to wrap that up because you need to go to bed. The guy would stay there and wet his pants and just keep working. He would work until he fell over. Once he got in it, he said he's a savant. He just knew that stuff. Now, this is not the computers that we know today. This is computers where you would lace a wire, run it over to a pin out of this board that's got 1,000 pins on it, and wrap it in there. And he could see the board.
That's impressive.
Oh man, yeah. But he didn't know when to go to the bathroom.
It sounds like Rain Man.
I've seen kind of, and I've seen the same thing down in Poughkeepsie. This one lady she walked around us 2 or 3 times while we were walking through the building, and they giving us a tour, and we walked in, and he goes, let me show you something. Went to her office. She had 5 different computers running with monitors, no chair. He said, if she's stuck because she's walking. And when you don't see her anymore, she's got at least 5 or 6 things going on at one time that she's programming around on.
Oh, wow.
But same thing. But there were a bunch of them in there like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely no savant.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. I have no problem with no one doing a bathroom.
Right.
No,
I think I know too much about going. Sometimes
it gets you, then get better.
Especially after tacos.
Oh, goodness.
That's too
You
much.
need to delete that part.
Yeah, believe it. That was too much.
Yeah.
That was too much.
I'm going home for Chipotle.
At least it's not Taco Bell.
No.
But let's ask Miss Kaya here.
Mm-hmm.
Share with us just some of the things that you've been looking into that maybe defines what you want to do in your future.
I've been looking into accounting, and I've been looking into counting. That's what
Accounting and counting.
accounting
So like a
and
professional
accounting.
counter, like you just go and
She's gonna
count.
go count cards in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll see how long she's lasts in one room.
Yeah.
They'll have the
1,
cameras on her right away.
2, 5,
What time does Jeopardy come on?
2 a.m.
Rain Man.
It was 5 minutes to Wapner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was 5 minutes to Wapner.
Yeah,
It's 5
Jeopardy,
minutes.
5 o'clock. Jeopardy, 5
5 o'clock.
What was your question again? Because I got distracted.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. No, I was just trying to get an idea of what you plan and stuff, because it kind of goes along with what we were talking about last week, and that's the identifying ourselves and where we're at.
Right.
Who are we truly, especially when it comes to our own personal life and versus our own spiritual life, and how we talked about last time a little bit how we don't realize that those two things should not be separated. They should be one and combined, because those two go hand in hand. Kind of like what you were saying earlier, how God, and did you say it on the camera? No, I'm telling you, my brain has been fried today. But you just said it. Literally just said it in my head.
God put me in,
God put in this place and everything. So
I wouldn't have, in 1,000 years, if you had ever told any of my high school friends that I was going to go in and do the kind of things I've done in the computer field, they said, no way. No way. I wasn't well, you're not a math guy. Didn't have to be a math guy.
Right. Maybe it's because I cut my hair today. That's probably why. Maybe I'm like Samson.
Maybe
all my power and wisdom just washed away. And Christy told me to get a haircut.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Let's stop at that.
Yeah. So
you come stay on our couch.
Yeah, I probably need to after this episode.
So my problem is that I've been looking into career paths for a very long time. I've always been looking into different career paths. My childhood dream was to become a lawyer, but my problem is I've looked into everything. I've looked into becoming a traveling nurse. I've looked into becoming a hairstylist, a car dealer. I've looked into
that's the first time I'll ever hear in my life someone wants to be a car dealer.
Yeah.
I've looked into it before. I've looked into everything. Being like, maybe I could be this, maybe I could be that, maybe I could be this. I've looked into becoming a doctor recently. I've looked into every single thing.
So then let's ask you
How about
this.
a marine biologist?
Ooh, my friend.
No, I
so
do not like the ocean.
We had a kid that wanted to be a marine biologist. I go, were you
He
even
got
getting
eaten
in
by
the
a
water
shark.
and swimming?
No.
You can't learn how to swim on the internet.
Right. Like
Sheldon.
I would never become a marine biologist. I don't like the ocean.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
So, I mean, at least
I
you're
drowned,
doing...
but
I do know what I don't want to become, though. I don't want to become a firefighter. I don't want to become a cop, detective, none of that stuff.
That sounds like a 5-year-old saying I want to be a
about
cop.
forensic medicine.
No, I said I don't want to be.
I know, I'm just saying. Like, these are all fields that I know, like, 5-year-olds would be saying that they want to be.
Well, there are people that are older that obviously want to become that, too.
Yeah, my cousin and my uncle are cops. And I still give them a hard time.
But that's my problem. Is
I
I just like looking into it. I get an interest in something. I'll look into it, and I'll be like, eh. And my other problem is I just want to hear a direct yes or no from God. That's all I want to hear.
Good luck.
I want to.
Yeah, you'll
I
never
wanna
get a
hear
direct yes or no.
I just want to hear a yes.
Sometimes
No.
yes, many times just you got to take the step.
And it also comes down to you need to find out what interests you when it comes to like what are your quality and your strengths.
My thing is, so I've my whole
life.
life.
Just say that I want, and I'm just using an example. It's just say like I want to be a cop, but I don't think I'm good at confrontation with people and arresting folks and things like that.
My
Shooting
thing is,
guns.
I've always been in. I've never wanted to be in the medical field. Yeah, I told y'all that earlier, just a second ago. I told y'all I never want to be in the medical field. Never, ever, ever. My problem though is I love looking into things in the medical field. I love knowing what the heart does. I love knowing all that other stuff. I love knowing why certain diseases happen.
Microbiology.
Yeah, that's actually
That's what Darla does.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. She looks at blood and guts and stuff like
That's
that.
thing. I don't want to look at that stuff.
Well, not just that. Honestly, another really good field that's starting to really grow is biomedical engineering.
Get a field in the field with the pharmaceuticals.
That and
they make a lot of money.
That too.
So far, Trump ain't done with them yet.
Oh, not just that is the fact that you could be the next person that helps develop a more efficient pacemaker or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of things I know, and to y'all out there, even especially the young viewers, if y'all are still trying to figure out who you are, which we're going to dive more into it here in just a bit. We're going into our 6th topic with it, but it's to seriously invest the time and research like what you're good at.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know what you're not good at, so don't do anything that's walking backwards.
I wasn't
or
walking
over
backwards.
cables, or trying to balance stuff. So don't be a waitress. So
I'm not going into the food.
anything that
Don't
involves
say never. Never say never.
yeah, never say never. But anything that involves food, I probably wouldn't do it if I was you, because you'll probably be juggling with that.
You get a hair in the food.
Right. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me take my ponytail out. but yeah, pretty much like that. Just
Are we done picking on you yet?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if the hazy is done
I
yet.
think
we still got a whole
so.
hour.
Oh, we just have a while. But that's my thing, is that I'll talk about it with my mom. I'm like, my only problem is I want to hear it from God, because my fear is I don't want to go in it if God isn't in it. And so that's my thing, is I want to know that God wants me to be in it. I'm like, it'd be so much easier if you'd already told me.
I struggled with
Yeah.
when he said you're going to want to go work in the computer field in operations. It's like I tell him, Laura, my wife, I was like, I don't know what, and I didn't know what I knew.
Yeah.
And I got in that, and it's interesting because I was in there, and they were just getting ready to go up to a completely different operating system, which means everybody that knew all the stuff that I didn't know, everybody had to start over.
That's my favorite time.
And then when that happened, boom,
that is the perfect window in any career field.
But you look at it, and not for now, but if you map out what happened with my life, it was just doing, okay, I wasn't looking career. I was just doing, our shoestring things. I was just doing the things that I knew God told me to do. And then this would come, and I have this contact with a person, and that person got me to fidelity and got me. I mean, it just, and what's next? I mean, I couldn't have known where I was going to move to, because that position didn't exist anywhere in the industry till we started it.
Right.
So that's stuff like that. It's like that was God. That was all God.
And that's 100% correct, because mine's a little bit similar to that too. I mean, I remember going to class and everything, and when I changed my major halfway through, I know it was a big change, because you're almost setting your life back 2 more years.
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to do that. And after talking to my parents, I'm like, I just don't know what to do, and not knowing if I'm doing the right thing, and am I, and then grinding through college and graduating and going through maybe at least like 30 or 40 interviews. And in that point, you're thinking like, God, I really don't know what's going on. Like, did I screw up? Did I choose wrong? Am I in the right thing? Sure. Until it was literally the most random thing ever. And it was my sister's, one of her friends that played on her basketball team. He worked for Encore, and I got to know him and talked and told him what I changed my degree to. And it was just casual conversation and all that. But I worked all the time. I was working at Best Buy or Albertsons or somewhere around that time. And just randomly, I got a phone call out of the blue, and it was the first manager I ever had. And he calls me. He's like, "Hey, I heard about you through this gentleman, and we know that you still have a semester left of college. How about you do an intern program with us?" I'm like, "Seriously?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, come up here tomorrow at noon for an interview." And I was like, I was like thinking in the back of my head, like, oh my gosh, tomorrow at noon. And I'm here thinking like, I don't have a suit. I don't have my resume. I don't have nothing. So of course
you're not sitting on a napkin with greasy pants on.
Right. So I'm there like in freak out mode and everything. I remember. And sure enough, I went to the interview. I sat down with him. We spoke. Maybe an interview is supposed to last 30 minutes to an hour. I ended up talking to this gentleman like we knew each other for a while, for over an hour and a half.
Wow.
And he goes, "Yeah, well, if this works out and stuff, we'll give you a call and we'll potentially give you an opportunity to intern with us. And I was like, yeah. I said, I'll take an internship for sure. It's like, I understand the interns are not paid. It's like, yeah, we'll see about that. So I go home and then I start praying and everything. I'm thinking like, maybe this is the door. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe I've been asking too much that now the devil's playing with it. So I'm like getting in my own head with it and stuff. And this is where it's so funny because my blue car had like the strongest Bluetooth sensor in the world. I turned it on. I was going inside and Christy was in the car and my phone started ringing and it was him. I answer and I'm like, hello, hello, hello. And Christy's in the car and everything. I'm walking out. I was like, dang, right as I'm about to hang up, I hear his voice in my car. So I make a dashing mad sprint and literally dive through her to inside the car. I'm like, hello. And he goes, everything okay? I'm like, well, I just made a mad sprint to the car because I didn't know it clicked over here. And sure enough, he offered me a paid internship. And he said, you got 4 months to prove it. And sure enough, I took those 4 months and I did as best I could. And sure enough, after I graduated and I showed him my diploma and everything, he goes, all right, you got the job. And I've been with that company now for 10 years. And there's times where you're thinking, and I'm sure you probably had those moments and you will eventually see those moments where it can beat you down. Like then you're questioning again, like, is this still what I'm supposed to do? And I've learned the more years I put in that company, the more I've learned is like, you got to put it on God. You have to trust in God. Like there's no doubt about it, because as soon as you start taking that trust away from your personal life, then you just start mentally spiraling down and like it can just go bad fast. And I mean, so those are my best tips that I can provide for you. But and
sometimes you won't know.
Yeah.
It's just, you get in a position and you're working and that points you somewhere else. You just don't, you just trust what he gives you.
Yeah, because you're there for a reason, no matter how long. And even if you think if you're in that role for so long, like I've experienced before, like, I'm ready for the next step. And I would put it internally and go through the same process, interview after interview, until just something randomly that I've never experienced reaches out and they're like, hey, let's go to this group. And I've been able, and I've been blessed that every time I've made a move in this company, that the grass has been greener each time. And I'm not saying that the grass I was in previously was horrible, but you could definitely see that the path that he's leading me is the right one. So, and that actually brings up literally pretty much to our last topic for what we were going about last week. And that's the social justice of it and the faith part of it, living out the gospel in your actions. So I got a little bit of notes and then we'll dive right in. But with social justice at the forefront, young adults are seeking a place to meet between their faith and the issues related to justice, equality, and compassion. This will be a study that encourages young adults to look how they can be a light in the community, standing up for the vulnerable and speaking on behalf of the issues that are considered right. And then I have some notes here about Micah 6:8, if you want to dig into that one.
The social justice piece, probably just to start it off, and I don't know what audience we've got, but probably this will be polarizing. Of all the things that social justice is not justice.
Right.
It is not justice. You put anything in front of justice, and now it's not justice anymore, right? And that's where these people where folks get all tangled up in the weeds of, well, this needs to be fair and that needs to be fair. It goes along with the DEI, right? The equity. Should I have equal opportunity to you? Yes. Should we both have equal outcomes? No, because we're not the same. If I perform worse than you do, you should get a raise and I don't. We don't both get a raise just because, because we have to be fair. It's got to be equitable.
Right.
That experiment failed in 2014 or 15. This guy, they was bragging about it. I'm going to give all my employees $80,000 a year, all of them. And and so he just balance it all out, right? Just everybody gets paid equal. And what he found is the poor performers performed more poorly, and his excellent performers performed poorly. So it didn't take him like 2 years, and he goes, "Okay, we're scrapping that."
Yeah.
He's like, "Guess what? That doesn't work. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work." And it's social justice. That now, when we read in Scripture about God's justice, His justice is always fair. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter what nationality you are. This is what you get.
Yeah.
Right? And so.
And that's why I like this topic, because they're trying to emphasize so much more about, and especially in today's time, is the whole social justice.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying faith is how things should be ran.
When we look at it from God's justice, and
Right.
God goes, if I kill somebody and you kill somebody, we both are to be executed. Well, because I came up from a different background than you did, and I didn't have everything that you had, and I didn't get to go to college, and I get to do these things. Well, I should be seen, my justice should be different than yours. No, it's this. If you do this thing, then it's done.
And
right?
no-no's a no-no.
And if you don't meet the requirements, you don't meet the requirements. So the number of young people, I want to say 40%, that was quoted in one of the research things I was reading. 40% of the students that get into college, 40% of them fail out because they were DEI inserted. They weren't qualified to be in the colleges that they were in. They could have gone to another college and did just fine. University of Phoenix. That's the one I was thinking of. They actually got a good write-up on it. But anyway, that was an earlier discussion. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that's how my brain works, right?
Yeah.
But saying that it doesn't do them any good to go to get into this position. And by the way, if you lower the standards so they get, how would you like that? You're now being trained to look at the person's outside to then determine, do I trust? If a doctor comes in and because you know that there's an ethnicity or whatever it is, you go, oh, okay, did they get that diploma because they earned it, or because they were in that college because of a DEI requirement? Do you want to do that when you go to a doctor? You don't want to go, you got a diploma and he's got a diploma, but I don't trust your diploma.
Right. No, see, they both put in the work for it too, though.
Well, no, not necessarily. The standards are lowered for
standards are lowered on certain universities and stuff, but
no, I mean individually they're lowered.
Oh, that's where you're going with it.
Yeah. So that's the danger of it. And so everybody wants everything to be equal. Social justice, when they go, we want social justice. Well, then you don't want everything to be equal.
Right. Because then you're targeting certain groups out of it. That you're wanting those groups to be higher than the others. Yeah. And I mean, there's plenty of groups to be named on, but we're definitely not going to get into that.
We don't want to go that far,
but
when you see, I think somewhere you read in the script, you mentioned the scripture where Jesus spent more time with the poor because the rich didn't want anything to do with them.
Yeah.
Right. But you see him there dealing. I mean, he goes, well, he spent more time with the poor than the rich. Yeah, but when Nicodemus came, he spoke to Nicodemus. When the woman at the well came, he spoke. Or when they met, he talked to her. When the synagogue leader came to him with his daughter dying and ended up dying, he went to them. So it's not a matter of the social aspect of it. Is the need and meeting the need.
And there was something I read about that, and I can't remember where it was from, but they're still pulling that, where they're saying more along the lines of people who are making X amount of income and living an X amount of lifestyle are the ones that are more into religion versus like the consensus of the 1%ers.
I haven't seen.
I'll have to find that one and send it to you. But that was a kind of an interesting read, that they were still pretty much splitting up, saying people who are, and it's definitely not, it was not a Christian side or anything like that. It was more of a negatory comment towards people who have more of a faith base built up. They're just pulling them in the lower demographics, out of the, what do they call it? The social rankings? No. What's that thing called when you make a certain amount of income and you're in this tier and then you're this tier?
And the one percenters versus the middle class and the lower
class.
Yeah, that I don't know. When I've any of the studies that I've looked at on that, and it's
all
so much.
over.
Some of it's called some of it, but some of it when you see it starting to pan out or to lay out, it really comes down to the things like how well a person's going to do in school, how a person's going to grow up, and is their family intact? That does not mean that a single parent family, they can't do well, but that statistic is low.
Right.
The nuclear family being together, having a mother and a father there for them to grow and grow up with. And obviously, when you bring Christianity to it, which right away they go, yeah, but they're Christians and they're abusive and all this. And they're also atheists. They're abusive as well.
It's funny how they want to turn specific categories against that.
Sure. But you know, what was it? Three things, and this is generally speaking, three things you do if you don't want to live in poverty. One is get a high school degree, not even a college degree, just get a high school degree. Get a job. Don't quit a job till you got a job. And the other one is don't get pregnant till you're married. And this isn't even a religious
right.
They said you look at the people, you do those three things, and you probably won't end up in poverty.
Right.
So, and you think of it, that doesn't have anything. Well, there's no spiritual aspect to that. Well, there are implications in it, but it's just here, just don't do these things.
I like that part where you just mentioned about the nuclear family, and I love how I think it's countless amount of times how much we brought it up in previous episodes and stuff, how the importance of bringing both party members of that family, making sure they're both strong in their faith for that child that grows up, because you're pretty much playing like Russian roulette with that child. If you have one that's against faith and the other one that is faith, you pretty much the child is going to get to pick whichever one seems to be the better lifestyle.
That's one of the reasons why God tells us in 2 Corinthians 6, he says, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Why? Well, one, it's going to ruin you. And two, how do you have a family that's cohesive? And you go, well, I grew up in a family and, you know, my dad was an atheist. My mom was a Christian and I did okay. Well, the question isn't whether you got a good job. The question is, do you have a relationship with God? Right? That is the most important thing.
Yeah, because I can say from my personal history, I know mine wasn't a nuclear family whatsoever. They both had faith, but it was not strong, if that makes any sense. We, like I've always joked about before with CEOs, we were that family that was CEOs. And it's usually when we went there, it was because of Grandma Haley that would tell us, hey, you need to come to church.
I met her, right?
Yeah. Strong-blooded German lady.
Yeah, kind of understood where your mom get. Never mind.
Yeah, oh no, she got that before her.
Oh, no. Where your mom gets it from.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But that was pretty much like our lifestyle and stuff, where it was Christmas, we'd go to church. If it was Easter, we'd go to church. If Grandma Haley got onto us too much, we'd go to church. And that's how it was. Because I can remember my first VBS wasn't when I was a kid either. It was when I was an adult, late teens, or no, in my 20s. It was in my 20s, and that was just because I was bugged about it so much by Miss Linda, one of our youth teachers, who I would highly recommend if you live in town, bring it to her. She's awesome. I mean, she just pestered and I wouldn't call myself arrogant or whatsoever, or high strung or headstrong, the word, but I kind of just pretty much collapsed and was like, fine, I'll help. Sure, why not? I'll come and see what this is all about. And plus, I had a niece that was also in VBS. I was like, sure, I'll just come and goof around and whatever. After sitting like in the first lesson, I was like, okay. And then slowly started growing more and more by the day. And that by the end of the week when it was over, I was actually bummed, thinking about like, it's over. Yeah, I've missed this my whole life, like this opportunity to hang out with my friends and getting to learn and the activities we got to do. And she was such a hands-on teacher that she was I don't even know how to explain her teaching method. It's just captivating to me. Like she knows how to draw whatever type of audience. And I mean, I have seen kids that are so ADD that it makes that Doug from Up look like he can pay attention and just focus on her that whole day and then go back to their wild selves. And I'm like, that is just amazing.
Yeah.
And I remember just wanting to get plugged in after that. And like the next year, I wanted to be a part of the VBS. And then the year after that, I wanted to do it. And then I got to the point where I was leading it for several years. And I was also helping teaching for several years and stuff like that. And it was, to me, those were my favorite days. And I will say, honestly, I do miss it. I really do, because it's it was an awesome opportunity just getting we joke about it, but it's so true. These kids are smart. These kids are very smart.
No, wait, which one? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. The little girl named Harper. I think she's the smartest one there. But
no prejudice.
My kid.
No bias. No bias.
But it was just one of those that I see why she does that, because seeing that structure built in a kid so early helps avoid so much of this when they get to an older age.
Absolutely.
And I know I was ranting there, but there was a purpose to it, because my kid, for example, I mean, she can spit out whatever. She knows in her heart what to do and react to people. Mm-hmm. She sees someone down, she lifts them up. She's prayed for kids and have no fear about it, doing it at school. Mm-hmm. So she knows what she's wanting to do. And even her at such a young age, knowing how she wants to plan out and everything and just trust and stuff, that's where it's so important when we always say in every service, every live session, is you got to find that right home. Mm-hmm. Because it will make a difference not only to you, but your whole family. It is a huge thing. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yep. Got to be in the right place.
Got to be in the right place. Yep. But then let me poke the bear and ask you this, and maybe just because I want to do it for the followers.
Bear isn't here.
But
I can bring him to your house.
Bring it. Oh. Is that the Pyrenees' name?
That's the Pyrenees' name.
Oh, how funny.
His name was Polar Bear.
Polar Bear?
Because he's white.
Yeah,
looks like a polar bear.
Yeah. That's cute.
So and he could kill you. No. Actually, he could. They're pretty tough. They're pretty tough.
Titan was a beast. So let me ask you this: if someone has been going to a church for maybe a couple years and they start questioning things, how do they know that they're still in the right home?
They start questioning,
they start questioning, and I'm not saying you, but for the example, if you start preaching things and it's just not really wanting to resonate with them.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between hearing something you don't want to hear and getting false teaching. And then I think if you're in a Bible believing preaching church, if they're doing that, you got to ask. I mean, if
BBPC.
Okay, and if you're engaged, I mean, people come in all the time and they'll sit in there, but they're not paying attention. And they go, I didn't get anything out of it. I watched you. You weren't paying attention. You weren't getting anything out of it at all. And then even if you are paying attention, as you're paying attention, it's not what we hear. It's what we choose to do with what we hear, right? And so there should always be that you're coming. There's a consumer producer reality when you come in. One is you come in to consume. God, you need to give me something. Matter of fact, I tell some folks, I go, they've left the church and so I'm looking for a church. What should I look for? I said, go to the church. If the preacher preaches and makes you mad, that's where you need to be, because he probably hit something you don't like, right? And so you probably need to listen to a lot of the things that you didn't like until you change them. And then engagement. You can't just sit and watch. You can't, God never called us to be spectators. He called us to be active and be engaged in ministry. And I know that everybody says they're busy, or everybody's busy. Everybody's busy all the time, but God calls busy people. Mm-hmm. He doesn't call the ones that are sitting. He calls the ones that are moving. So he wants them to be engaged. So just like what you're talking about with the VBS and the ministries, it's not, I'm consuming, but at the same time, I'm there producing, I'm there helping somebody else. And at some point, I'm stepping up into ministry of some sort, right? It could be a ministry you do outside. It could be something like this. Outside, you go, hey, I need help managing. I need help doing this, or I need help. And that's what the church is there to help that person do. Or I want to take this from my example is career coaching. I did a ton of career coaching.
Yeah, you helped me.
in at Fidelity, and it just transferred over here. And those that have stuck with it, it's helped them. Even the ones that came in to do it and then they left because career coaching kind of said you need to go do that.
He's not patting himself on the back or anything.
I'm not. It's gone.
Being genuine.
So anyway, that's the thing. So if God's got you in a place and you're hearing, or if you're getting upset with it, it's like, well, what he said was wrong. Was it wrong? No, I just didn't like it. Oh, then you're not telling on the preacher. You're telling on yourself. Telling on yourself, right?
And see, I asked that because I know a couple people who've done the whole church hopping
Sure.
route.
People.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've
over the years I've watched them in.
Yeah, I mean, you've been doing it. What, you're 65 years now, right? No, oh, that was way off.
No, I have been doing it for 45 years.
I was close if you round down.
Felipe, the pastor isn't even 65.
No, he's 75.
Yeah. I can't drive 55.
That's where you got confused.
She didn't know that reference.
No. But
probably the guys watching.
The people who have gotten speeding tickets understand.
Oh man. So anyway.
But no, that's so true because I mean, I've experienced some people who have hopped around and stuff, and it's funny how you say all that because it's when I hear the complaints about it, it's because something there triggered them, made them upset, and then they're like finding the place where they don't
get upset.
Yeah, and I mean,
there's plenty of churches.
And you know what? And I hate saying that because I don't want to dig at any other churches, but I've experienced a church like that when we got invited to one for when the girl was getting baptized, and during the whole service, and I mean. I'm trying not to sound mean about it. I'm trying to phrase it right. I don't do well with everything happy-go-lucky. Let's all sing Kumbaya and expect flowers to grow out of my butt. So,
it's probably in Micah. Micah chapter 2.
Micah, yeah. I just don't do well.
Where you plant them,
right? That's why you don't eat the watermelon seeds.
That's right.
But I think I struggle with that. Because I like things that are told very direct and literally the word from the Bible itself. And I don't like it how they fluff it, I guess would be the correct word, where they don't show the true punishment that you could occur from that action. Because I feel like, yes, there's a lot, and people pull is like, well, there's a lot of killing in the Bible. Yes, that's absolutely true. There's also a lot of good in the Bible. There's a lot of talks about salvation in the Bible. There's a lot of talks about sinfulness in the Bible. And that's all very important elements that you have to learn and understand because these people have already went through it.
Right.
They're telling you exactly what happened to them because of those actions. Do you want history to repeat itself with you? Do you want to go down this person's path and get punished for it? Like
you see what they do, and then you go do the same thing and wonder what happened. You just read what
right. It's like, why am I getting punished? She already got punished for it.
Yeah.
To me, that's where I struggle with is that I don't like, and it's not saying I don't want to see the silver lining to everything. It's more along the line of I know what the gospel is, and I understand it, and I want to do what's right because I've already seen what's wrong. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. It's the ones that see it, hear it, and then ignore it.
Right.
It's like, what's God want you to do? Is there a ministry here? And this I think maybe I'm just too out of touch. You're out of touch. Too out of touch with it. But one of the things that we go, well, what's your plans and we have a plan. We have a strategy of what we're doing. But one of the things I tell folks is I'm here to help you engage your ministry.
Right.
I'm not here to do your ministry for you. I'm here to help you in your ministry. So if you want to do feed multitudes, if you want to do the bags, if you want to do this, if you want to do, Kaya's probably familiar. She probably wished she hadn't gotten into it, but doing the sound, the AV stuff, it's like, do you know how much that really is involved? It's involved in that.
And a lot of that stuff
it's
helps.
Just Sundays. No, it's not. It's
Right.
here, you know.
And a lot of that stuff has helped out. And I know for a fact that for you especially, it definitely will benefit you in your future, understanding exactly everything that you've been working through in the church because of the experience that you gained from it.
I always used to like run in town and stuff at my old church I used to go to. I used to run town over there too. So whenever I came over here, I was more like, oh, I guess I'll run it. It was a lot more difficult than the one at my old church, but it's
and
definitely.
You were working for him, which is really hard just to say.
Yeah, I used to just have to work for my
I
children's
just
pastor.
expect you to give me
It
the
was
work.
a lot easier.
I told her, I said, when she's flipping that thing, I go, you got to understand, I will keep going, but they won't be the words.
Right. Here, pause real quick. I'm going to go ahead. We're still continuing on with our fun Bible questions for our raffle. So I'm going to go ahead and spit one out because I think we've been probably going on for a hot minute.
A bit more than a hot minute.
Yeah. So
maybe just a little bit.
I'm going to ask one, and this is going to actually be worth 2 points because it's considered one of the more challenging ones that I've looked up. So hopefully it's hard. I mean, I actually second guessed myself, which I felt bad. But what is the name of the youngest son of Jacob? Surprisingly, I forgot. And I had to look it up myself.
Oh, well.
Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
I would hope so.
My
as a
oldest
pastor.
son is named after him.
That is, oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, that's a giveaway if they know you. It was his third son that was named that.
No, my third son was named because Z is the last letter in the alphabet.
Oh, we already got
As
an
a last
answer.
kid.
we already got an answer.
Oh, before it even got spit out?
Yeah.
You typed it? Oh.
Benjamin.
Who said it?
My mom.
Oh, your mom. I'll put 2 points down for her.
Mom, 2 points.
Mom, 2 points.
Ask. She can hear this. What did Mom call him? Jacob called him Benjamin. What did Mom call him before she died?
This is for double or nothing.
Let me look out there and see if her hair's on fire.
She called him my precious child. No.
My precious child.
My precious little angel.
Well, if she answers it, we'll give her 2 more points for the double or nothing. But how good are we actually on time? I mean, we've been kind of going at it for a while.
We jumped around. That's good.
Yeah, we did jump around.
Any questions or anything?
From the chat?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, like always, y'all are more than welcome to plug in your questions. We're so ADD, we'll jump ships so fast.
we probably jumped about 10 ships.
I think so.
We will turn left in a minute.
Hot second. I am a pro at that. I mean, there's no denying it. And I think it's worse. It's like if I'm working outside and stuff, I will literally start one project. I'll be working at it and everything. And all of a sudden, if I see something wrong, then all my attention goes towards that. And then that becomes a project. And then something in there happened, which then turns into the other project. And then I have everything scattered around. And then she comes out and she's like, what's all this doing? And I'm like,
I do that too, but not outside because I don't work outside.
Back in my Fidelity job, I wore about 8 hats. So I was going from one tech discussion to a power and motor generator discussion to a, moving cubicles around discussion. And it's like, how do you do that? So I don't know how to do that. It's like, oh yeah, ADD. That's how I do it.
I will say there's a lot of
uses it.
Yeah, there's a lot of pros to it because now in this new role, I've realized that I can jump ships and conversate with different type of companies that do different type of things and be able to my mind can switch on a dime.
Yep.
And it just blows my mind myself too. But I guess that was the only question. So we'll pretty much kind of, I guess, wrap it up from here for now. How long did you say we ran?
48 minutes.
Oh yeah, then that's a good time.
We started a little bit early, but yeah.
Yeah. So give you a couple Reborn updates and news and stuff. So y'all are all caught up, especially for the ones that watch this after our live videos, which we thank you honestly for watching that. I mean, I've noticed an uptick in views. Last week's video jumped up to 40 views
Wow.
after we went live.
Yeah.
So that was good. And so we're thankful for that. But as for Reborn and everything, we're still looking at, and I'm going to hopefully have a hard date next week on when the raffle is going to be. So that way we can try to get some more raffles going on. And then we'll have the actual prize sitting on our table that y'all see y'all will win. So maybe that'll attract some more folks. But
It's not that card.
it is not
No.
that card, which, by the way,
Mine.
for Tottenham, a lot of Tottenham fans out there, because they finally won their first championship in 17 years.
Oh, wow.
They won it yesterday, 1-0. And it was funny because there's an actual Twitter account with a live timer on it.
No, really? It's been running.
It's been running
for
since then, showing how long it says Tottenham's lifespan with no trophy. It finally got set to 0.
That's funny.
And I laughed so hard. I mean, in the soccer community, they always bash on the team. It's good. But as for Reborn, we're still doing our live episodes. Here soon, you'll be seeing a new video come out, and that's going to be the ramen challenge between me and Kaya. And Brother Ed's going to be pop quizzing us as each question. It's going to be a flip. It's going to be hard questions at the beginning with no heat tolerance and easy questions at the end with the highest heat to see how our brain functions. And we hope doing stuff like this will get more engagement out of y'all and get a kick out of it too. So we're very excited for this episode. At least Kaya, she's been asking
Can you eat
me.
hot things? Can you eat hot
Yeah.
foods and stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
I know I can. I have no problem. My stomach can't, but I can't.
And just let folks know too that we got the New Believers Bible studies
Yes,
out there on
two-
the TBC website or TBC YouTube. And
TBC of Brendan.
we're up over 30 on each of the videos.
That's awesome. So make sure to tune in on that. If you are brand new witnessing this and you're wanting to know about how to be a new believer and stuff, it's never too late to join the class at all. Because one thing that's awesome about YouTube is that all those videos from the previous lessons are already there. So you can get caught up fairly easily. And if you're needing the book and everything, was the link, did you say, on the YouTube channel?
The link
Or
may be on the YouTube channel, but you can go to the tbcofrendon.com, go to the Bible studies page, and it's just printed.
and there you go. You'll have
yours.
it's your own free
And it's free.
study
And
guide.
it's free.
Yeah, well, yeah, I just threw free out there. Hopefully it is.
No, it is. Yeah.
But make sure you tune in on Tuesdays at
It is at, what time is it?
6.
6:30.
6:30.
6:30.
So if you are
I'm
not
probably
subscribed,
starting a little bit early, and if people want to just jump in and just talk or ask questions before we get going, they're welcome to do that.
yeah, so look out for those on Tuesdays on TBC's website. He's the one that manages all that. Keep a lookout for our shorts. We'll be uploading some more shorts here soon. And honestly, subscribe to our social media pages. We put out a lot of our news, verses of the days, details, information, other opportunities for raffle entries on there. So subscribe to Facebook, Instagram,
TikTok.
and
That's it.
that's it.
Mhm.
So subscribe to all those. This should be the same name, and it should be the link on my YouTube page for those access. Oh, except for TikTok, I need to put that on there. So we'll need to get a link on that. But other than that, I have nothing else to say to y'all.
Except
There are 4 in, 1 is out, and we're offline.